coastal. The United States wants the world, and particularly China, to know of its increasing presence in the Indo-Pacific.
China's defense ministry has urged the Asia-Pacific region to be on high alert.
The Philippines has identified the 4 new military bases that it will be giving U.S. troops access to.
China's economy has performed better than expected so far this year, with industrial output and retail sales both outperforming forecasts.
President Biden is sitting down for a high-stakes meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
In the vast expanse of world's oceans, a silent evolution is reshaping the landscape of naval warfare.
The relationship between the United States and China is so far one of the defining features of international relations in the 21st century. In recent years, tensions between these global superpowers have escalated, leading to a complex web of economic, political, and strategic conflicts. The factors driving this shift include trade disputes, technological competition, and geopolitical confrontations, each of which has contributed to a growing divide between the two nations. The United States administration's confrontational stance towards China has further fueled this divide, as evidenced by its effort to curb China's technological advancements, restrict its global influence, and impose economic sanctions. What about the trade disputes and economic tensions? Well, the economic relationship between the United States and China has been marked by a series of trade disputes, starting with the imposition of tariffs and escalating into a full-blown trade war. The US has accused China of engaging in unfair trade practices, including intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and subsidizing state-owned enterprises. In response, the United States imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, leading to a tit-for-tat exchange that has disrupted global supply chains and markets. The phrase "one trade deal," signed in 2020, offered a temporary relief, but tensions have persisted. Concerns over market access, technology transfer, and China's industrial policies continue to strain the relationship, highlighting the need for a sustainable solution that addresses both nations' economic interests. The United States' effort to curtail China's technological advances, particularly in sectors such as telecommunications and artificial intelligence, have further strained relations. The targeting of companies the likes of Huawei and TikTok reflects a broader attempt by the US to limit China's technological influence, raising questions about the role of national security and global innovation in this rivalry. Then comes the technological competition. Another significant factor in the US-China rivalry is technological competition. The US has expressed concerns over China's rapid technological advancements, particularly in areas such as telecommunications, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. This has led to measures aimed at restricting China's technological influence, including the blacklisting of companies like Huawei and imposing restrictions on the US technology exports to China. The US has framed these actions as necessary for national security, arguing that Chinese companies may pose a threat due to their ties to the Chinese government. Yet we all know how easy it is for the United States government to justify anything it wants under the so-called national security banner. The response from Beijing has been one of defiance, with China's accelerating its efforts to develop independent technological capabilities, reducing its reliance on the US technology. What about the geopolitical confrontation? The geopolitical dimension of the US-China rivalry has become now increasingly pronounced in recent years, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. China's growing influence in the region, which we are all aware of, coupled with its assertive stance in key geopolitical areas, has drawn now significant scrutiny from the United States. In response, the US has taken measures to counterbalance China's ambitions, strengthening alliances, increasing its military presence, and voicing concerns about Beijing territorial aspirations. This rivalry has significant implications for regional stability, reshaping alliances, and of course, raising the risk of miscalculations which could lead to an open conflict. Then comes China's assertive stance in the Asia-Pacific, as the US claims. Well, China's increasing influence in the Asia-Pacific region has manifested through a variety of initiatives and actions. One prominent example is its Belt and Road Initiative, known as the BRI, a vast infrastructure and investments project that spans continents. The BRI has expanded China's economic and diplomatic reach, establishing new partnerships and deepening ties with countries across Asia, Africa, and Europe. In parallel, China's assertive stance in the South China Sea has sparked significant tensions with the United States. Beijing constructions of artificial islands and military installations in contested waters has drawn condemnation from the US and its so-called regional allies, particularly given its claim over disputed territories. But here is the truth. What the West refrained from stating is that China is working through diplomatic channels behind closed doors to resolve the territorial issues with its neighbors. Talks with Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam are a case in point. What about US response? Well, strengthening alliances and military presence in response to China's growing influence. The US has taken steps to strengthen its alliances in the Asia-Pacific theater. This includes deepening its security partnership with key regional players such as Japan, South Korea, and Australia, and I may as well add Philippines. Yet, these steps are also creating more tensions that could lead to a conflict. The US has also engaged with Southeast Asian nations, aiming to counterbalance China's influence and foster regional stability. However, most, if not all, except for the Philippines, are remaining neutral. The US has also increased its military presence in the region, deploying naval and air assets to strategic locations. These actions are intended to signal the US commitment to maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific, countering China's territorial ambitions, and ensuring the security of its regional allies. This heightened military presence has led to an increase in naval patrols and freedom of navigation operations, particularly in South China Sea, challenging China's expansive claims. Then comes the big elephant in the room, Taiwan. The implications for Taiwan and the South China Sea. The geopolitical rivalry between the US and China has had significant implications for regional hotspots such as the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. The United States' commitment to defending Taiwan, a wishful thinking if I may add, as outlined in the Taiwan Relations Act, has fueled tensions between Washington and Beijing. China's reunification aspiration and its increased military posturing near Taiwan have raised concerns over a potential conflict, with the US voicing support for Taiwan's sovereignty and reinforcing its military deterrence in the region. But that's where it ends. It's just an expression of voicing support. In the South China Sea, China's assertive actions and expansive claims have led to some scrimmages and confrontations with neighboring countries, mainly Philippines, and drawn international criticism. The US has conducted so-called freedom of navigation operations to challenge these claims, aiming to maintain open sea lanes and deter further militarization. These actions have contributed to a tense geopolitical climate, raising concerns about the potential for an escalation. The strategic competition and the global alliance. This strategic competition between the US and China has also led to reassessments of global alliances. Countries in the Asia-Pacific region and beyond are reconsidering their positions, weighing in the benefits of aligning with either the US or China. This reassessment has led to shifting alliances, with some nations deepening ties with the US while others see closer cooperation with China. The US administration's confrontational stance has sought to limit China's reach on the international stage, encouraging allies and partners to distance themselves from Chinese influence. A wishful thinking, if I may add. China, in response, has bolstered its diplomatic efforts, particularly in developing regions such as Africa and Latin America. Initiatives like the BRI have expanded China's influence, providing an alternative model to the US-led international frameworks. This growing influence has sparked debates over the nature of global governance and the future of balance of power. The changing dynamics have also prompted countries to pursue a more balanced approach, avoiding taking sides in the US-China rivalry. This balancing act reflects the complexity of modern geopolitics, where nations seek to navigate between competing powers, maintaining their interests while avoiding entanglement in a potential conflict. Here is my conclusion for you. The US-China relationship has evolved into a complex dynamics marked by trade disputes, technological competition, and of course geopolitical confrontations. This rivalry has deepened the divide between the two nations, influencing not only their bilateral relations, but also global economic, technological, and geopolitical landscape. It reshapes now the Asia-Pacific region and has significant implications for global stability. China's assertive actions, coupled with the US counterbalancing measures, have led to increased tensions in key hotspots such as Taiwan, Strait, and the South China Sea. Navigating this multifaceted relationship requires a nuanced approach that balances competition and cooperation, addressing both nations' interests while fostering global stability. The path forward will shape the international order, impacting global alliances, economic policies, and technological advancements in the years to come. The US-China relationship is a complex and evolving dynamics that has far-reaching implications for global stability and prosperity. The current confrontational stance taken by the US risks deepening divisions and hindering progress in key areas. The path forward requires diplomatic engagements, strategic foresight, and a willingness to collaborate in areas of mutual interest. By doing so, the United States and China can help shape a balanced international order that fosters stability, innovation, and global well-being. As always, prepare yourself for a changing world order. Till next time. Thank you.